Welcome back.
Hey,
it's been a while.
Yes, it has.
This is my friend Eric Casey, in case you're unfamiliar with him. He's has his own YouTube channel, Dreammaker Productions.
Mm-hmm.
How long has it been since you've done anything on there?
Long time. I've been doing some stuff over at Toonami Squad, which is another YouTube channel.
Do you want me to link that?
If you want to.
Alright.
Yeah, it's been a while, but I'm actually thinking of doing that stuff again. Possibly getting back into it, but we'll see if I can find the time.
Okay, nobody cares about your problems.
I
We're here to review a movie.
Yes, yes.
Alright, the movie we want to review is the 2017 superhero film Justice League, which is the 5th installment of the DC Extended Universe, which is a series of films all based on DC Comics that all take place in the same universe. Real quick, I just want to, even though you reviewed the first 3 movies with me, I just want to recap our thoughts on the first 4 movies, just so people are up to snuff, I guess. Man of Steel, the first film in this series, came out in 2013. I like Man of Steel personally. I do think it's flawed, but I do like it. But what do you think of Man of Steel?
I like it. Well, I'm kind of in the middle. There's parts of me that, pretty much all of the movies for me, there's parts that I like, but there's a lot of things that they got wrong. And yeah, basically, I don't think Man of Steel should have been the foundation for this extended universe, but that's just me. Right. It was okay. It was an okay movie, though.
Okay. Then you had Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. If you saw our review of it, you would realize I think we're both in agreement that the film is a complete mess.
Complete? It's not complete. It's not even a complete movie in my opinion. No, I'm kidding.
Well, I mean, granted, I've only seen the theatrical version. You have seen the feature length. I mean, not feature length. The
extended cut.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, I wouldn't even say the extended cut justifies its completedness. It's still a mess. Like I said, I just feel like the foundation that they went with just wasn't right for the direction that they were going. So, like I said, some parts are good. There's some good moments that Zack Snyder was able to pull out of the source material, but still it falls flat, in my opinion.
Yeah. And then you had Suicide Squad, which I freaking hated. And I found that to honestly be the most insulting one out of all of these, because the trailers were actually good. The trailers made it look really good.
The Bohemian Rhapsody one was good.
That was it. Okay. But what really insulted me about that movie was just how it was trying so hard and so desperately to be DC's version of Guardians of the Galaxy. And also the themes that they introduced of family, considering that the characters only knew each other for a day. Yeah. Those were so forced, and it honestly felt kind of manipulating, and that's why I found it to be kind of insulting.
I didn't find it insulting per se, but it just felt... A lot of these movies, I could basically describe it as, like you said, kind of just rushing into it way too quickly, because it feels like the stories that these movies are telling, there is so much backstory and so much development that these characters have gone through that none of us have seen. And for these sequences to work, those movies beforehand showing all the character development leading to this point should have been shown. But no, they wanted to copy Marvel, jump into the crossovers, when they had no material to cross over with to begin with.
Alright.
What? Yeah.
Okay, and then the fourth film in this series was Wonder Woman. Now, you weren't with me for my review of Wonder Woman. I personally liked Wonder Woman a lot. I don't think it was a perfect movie, but I think it was probably the best of this series so far. What do you think of Wonder Woman?
I really liked Wonder Woman. I thought it was good. It was the best of the DC movies, even though that's not saying much, but still, it was very good. But I still say it compared... If I want to give my criticism to the normal, not the normal, but like the overall reaction to it, I think it's gotten really overhyped.
I would agree with. That I thought it was very good. I don't think it was quite as good as people were making it out to be.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I feel like there's something else going on with that, or why people are praising it so highly.
Well, I
don't personally agree with that.
Yeah, I do think it might be like the fact that it is a movie featuring a very strong female character. Maybe some people were afraid to criticize some things about it because they were afraid they were going to be labeled sexist or something.
I'm pretty sure that is the case, but...
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the movie had that great message, but I don't think the movie forced it at all.
No,
you know? And,
no. It did
not
the source material pretty perfectly, I have to say, for a live-action movie.
Yeah, but that's not a reason you should detract from criticizing it, because nobody's going
to...
Nobody in their right mind is going to accuse you of sexism just if you criticize that movie that happens to have a strong female character in it.
Yeah.
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 Unfortunately, there are a lot of people who will, though. Probably.
There are idiots out there, but you can't assume that every single person that's criticizing the movie is going with that motivation in mind. It's not the case.
Yeah.
For me, anyway, that's not the case. I criticize the movies I watch because it comes from from a good place.
Yeah.
It's because I want to see it do well. Yeah. Especially DC, because I bleed DC comics, Batman, baby. But anyway.
Yeah, but Wonder Woman, I would say, is definitely... Well, I don't think it's perfect. I will say it's probably the best of this series so far.
Absolutely. 100%.
We'll see what happens in the future with this series. But now on to Justice League. Okay, the plot of Justice League. It's set a few years after the events of Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, and the world is dealing with the death of Superman, and... Long story short, an alien being known as Steppenwolf comes to Earth, and it turns out he tried to conquer Earth thousands of years before, but failed. Now he's back, and in order to conquer Earth, he needs to collect these cubes called Mother Boxes.
Mother Boxes, yeah.
And basically, Batman and Wonder Woman find out about this, and they're now trying to assemble a team of metahumans to stop Steppenwolf, and that's the basic plot line of Justice League. What do you think of Justice League? What's wrong?
Why do I keep coming back to these? Anyway,
if you don't want to review this, there's the door.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. No, friggin' Justice League. Okay, so I went into this movie with extremely low expectations, obviously, because of the disappointments of Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad beforehand. And pretty much just like the behind the scenes and all the, behind the scenes.
Yeah, we'll probably talk about that a little bit later. But
yeah, but pretty much just like how the behind the scenes was a mess, this movie was a complete mess. An even bigger mess than Batman vs. Superman, go figure. And again, just to reiterate, there were some good moments here and there. There's some parts that I liked about it at certain points where I was kind of like, oh, that's actually pretty freaking awesome. Like the part with the Flash running and Superman turns his back, turns his eye and he watches him the entire time. That was freaking awesome. Just gonna say, but for every little moment like that was just pure awesome. There was just other parts where I was just like bashing my head against the wall saying, why is this happening? It was just, and also it basically the two styles of like Zack Snyder and Joss Whedon clearly clashed at certain points. I felt it felt like all the talky bits was basically Joss Whedon and all the fighting stuff was Zack Snyder, and it was just pacing wise and tonally, it was a complete mess because Joss Whedon had like that, the quick quips, funny, comedic, Marvel-esque type of dialogue, and then we went back to like the Zack Snyder, the dark, serious tone stuff, Yeah.
I actually didn't think this movie was that bad. I don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a great movie. I don't think it's a great movie at all.
I agree with you, but I don't know how.
But I don't think it was that bad. I honestly had some fun with this movie. It wasn't a great film by any means, but to me, compared to Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, this film, I know you said you thought it was a mess. Tonally, I could agree with you there, but it still felt like the story flowed. It didn't feel like to me that there were 2 hours cut out of it.
Huh? Well, okay, in that aspect, yes, I agree with you, but again, just like how like Batman versus Superman, where you had like the, establishing all the different characters and getting their, sort of setting them up and all their backstories and stuff. This movie kind of had that same problem too, where it was like they had to throw in the Flash backstory a little bit, cyborgs, Wonder, all that stuff, on top of reviving Superman and getting him to come back, and then the villain didn't have any character development. He just showed up and said, "Hi, I'm the villain. Beat me up later."
That is one criticism I will have, is the villain is a complete cartoon character. Although I would say the villains on the animated Justice League series had more depth to them than the villain in this movie.
The freaking side characters, like the supporting characters, had more character development than the freaking main villain of this movie.
Yeah.
And not only that, the main villain is like this second in command dude of Darkseid's army. It's like, I want to see freaking Darkseid.
Well, you know what?
Justice League together.
Yeah, but maybe they're setting up Darkseid for a later, bigger, better film.
Your movie's called Justice League. Who has Justice League fought? They fought Darkseid. They have fought Brainiac. They have fought an alien invasion.
Not in this continuity.
This continuity is second in command of Darkseid's army. That's your biggest villain. They could have fought Doomsday in the previous couple movies.
To be fair, look at Marvel. We're like a bunch of movies in with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and now they're already fighting Thanos.
Yeah, but look how many years it took us to get to that point. It's like they pre-established everything, and everything was building up to this.
And they're building up to Darkseid.
With just a 3 movie? No, wait. 1, 2...
This is the 5th movie.
Yeah, but Suicide Squad doesn't count, and Wonder Woman didn't count.
Okay.
Yeah. So, for 2 movies, they build it up to the second in command of Darkseid's army. Good job, Hollywood writers. I hope you earned your paychecks.
Okay. I would agree with a lot of your points there. For me personally, now, keep in mind... I haven't seen the movie since it came out in November, so if I'm a little off
that time either.
with some stuff. Honestly, though, I felt like when they introduced like the Flash into it, when they introduced Cyborg into it, to me it felt a little more, you could call me crazy, but it felt a little more balanced than it did in maybe like Batman vs. Superman, where they were just introducing them via video clips that...
Yeah, but they, again, I feel like it was... that's what they established. That's what they led into. That's what you expect. I would think. It's just that, like I said, just how Suicide Squad felt the same way. These characters, like the things that they were talking about, it felt very disjointed, because it seems like they had like all this, development that happened before this movie even happened, and basically we get to hear about a glimpse of it. And because of that, it affects us giving a crap about what's happening and us getting invested into what's happening. Because in simplistic of terms, you want to care about these characters. That's, and part of that is because you've seen them kind of grow from where they were, Here, in this live-action extended DC Universe approach, we haven't had that at all. Batman was shoved into Batman vs. Superman, and they basically shoved his whole backstory into 10 minutes.
Yeah.
For this new Batman that we need to...
Well, to be fair, even though this is a different continuity, still everybody knows Batman's backstory, though.
Yes, but this, again, especially considering that DC took Christopher Nolan's realistic tonal approach to it, it would be kind of confusing, and... for new people to be... Because this is a brand new Batman that they're introducing with Ben Affleck and everything. Obviously, I think they even tried to get Christian Bale to come back for these Batman movies, but he said, no, I'm done with that stuff. So there was even that confusion going on as well, just to add to like the whole mess that this extended universe has been. And like I said, I feel like there should have been a lot more individual movies to kind of set everything up, instead of... Because to me, I feel like how you were saying Suicide Squad was very exploitable and all that.
Mm-hmm.
This entire extended universe was exploitable because, like I said, they just jumped into the crossovers without any crossovers to jump into.
I can see where you're coming from.
You know, and that's what's insulting to me, and especially because I love these stories. Like we were talking about when you brought up the Justice League animated series, like that show, those people that did those shows just did them so perfectly. And to see these stories kind of getting bastardized, in my view, because DC's just trying to, you know, basically go with the EA Call of Duty versus Battlefield approach, where it's, oh, the way we're going to compete against Call of Duty, we're going to make our own Call of Duty. And barely change anything to it, you know?
Yeah.
So that kind of pisses me off a little bit about it. And that's why I feel kind of vindictive about it. Even though I will say there were some good moments here and there, but those moments aren't worth the 2.5 hours of bullshit that you have to go through, you know?
Okay. Alright. And once again, for me, granted, maybe I would have to see the movie again, but I didn't think it was terrible. And maybe I didn't think it was terrible because I was expecting terrible, because of how much I hated Batman vs. Superman Suicide Squad. Maybe I was expecting it to be so much worse than I thought it actually was.
I mean, again, to me, having a second, you know, a second tier villain as compared to the mainstays, like I said, Justice League, I feel like it's required to either have like the alien invasion that introduces Jean, the Martian Manhunter, or Brainiac, or, you know, friggin' Darkseid or Doomsday.
Yeah.
Like, those make perfect sense.
Well, they introduced Doomsday.
That's not Doomsday.
I know.
Lex Luthor's DNA plus Kryptonian Zod blood does not equal Doomsday. I'm sorry. No.
I think we should talk about some of the production history. Most people watching this video probably already know, but Zack Snyder is credited as the director, and he did direct some of this, but unfortunately there were a lot of production problems, and some things did happen in Zack Snyder's actual life that got in the way. So basically Joss Whedon came in and reshot a lot of this, and you can kind of tell,
kinda.
To me, it didn't. The clash of tones did not bother me as much as it bothered you. I noticed it, but it didn't, like, piss me off or anything, personally.
It didn't piss me off. It was just really distracting because it just clashed with the overall tone, because we're just so used to, you know, the Zack Snyder broad, you know, Christopher Nolan, dark, serious, you know, no joking type of scenarios. And then, you know, you have Flash kind of what. But I will say though, when Superman comes into the fray, the Joss Whedon writing worked way better.
I could see that.
This has been my favorite Superman movie, actually.
Oh, really?
I would have to
That's
say.
actually something I want to point out. I do think this really is, even though I liked Man of Steel, I do think this really is the first time in this series where Superman legitimately felt like
actually
Superman.
had a personality?
Yeah.
His wisecracks were pretty great, I have to say.
Yeah, and then you had the little thing at the end where Superman and Flash race, which I don't know how much that's happened in the comics, but I know was the episode of Superman the Animated Series that whole episode was built around that.
And they even raced. I think they had a crossover in the Flash series too.
All right.
Where they raced. They've raced about, I think, 3 or 4 times. I think.
Okay.
Superman won. I think it was a tie for all of them, pretty much. Like, it's split half and half, but whatever. Nerd stuff.
I did appreciate that little tribute to that.
Cute. Yeah.
And what did you think of, because I know in reality, the actor who plays Superman, his name's escaping me right now.
Henry Cavill.
Henry Cavill. In reality, he had a mustache, and they CGI'd. Did you notice that? Because I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't notice it personally.
It was so bad.
Okay.
Yes, I noticed it right away.
I didn't notice it. Alright.
The opening scene when they're going through all the TV footage of Superman saving people and stuff, it was so obvious. It was so bad.
Alright.
I'm sorry, but yeah.
Okay, I personally didn't really notice it. What did you think of, like, some of Flash's, like, because obviously a lot of the pop culture references that Flash makes, that was definitely Whedon's stuff. Like, a freaking Flash going, Pet Cemetery! Which I kind of appreciate because I'm a big Pet Sematary fan, but...
Yeah, I like the Flash in this movie, honestly. As weird as... I felt it was kind of weird that critics were actually bringing that up, where it's like his personality kind of balanced out the dark tone a little bit. I felt that was kind of a weird thing to bring up, but I do agree with it. I thought some people did say he was also kind of annoying too. I didn't. No, think he was that annoying.
I thought he was really good, fun in the movie.
I thought the actors and I thought the actors overall, just everybody did a great job with the material. Like, I didn't think the performances were distractingly bad or anything like that. It wasn't like Jesse Eisenberg for one.
The red capes are coming.
And what's his name from Man of Steel? I will find him.
I liked Michael Shannon as Zod.
I will never let that go. But yeah, in an over the top way, yes, I liked them too. But for Justice League, again, back on point, I thought all the actors did a great job with the material. I will say that the performances were very, very well done.
Yeah, something I want to do is I want to like go.
Besides the villain,
yeah,
the villain was god awful.
I want to go through like each member of the Justice League that you see in this movie, and we'll talk about what we thought of each one.
Okay.
But what about Batman? How do you think Batman's character development was in this movie?
Well, I'm not saying that Ben Affleck was bad, because I thought his performance was good, but I thought the writing for Batman was kind of weird, for one. What's the best... In fact, in preparation for this, we were reading up the Wikipedia and all that, and it was basically saying that Batman has this new inspiration of life and being, you know, kind of changed, where he went from like hating life and all that to a new kind of like resurgence of being
a fresh look on life.
A fresh look on life. I did not get that vibe at frickin' all in Justice League at all. Like, not at all. I didn't get that vibe at all. In fact, if I remember correctly, wasn't he... Who suggested to revive Superman? Because that was actually like the biggest plot in the movie, where it was basically the Justice League deciding we should revive Superman. Like, half the league was like, we need to revive Superman, otherwise we can't beat this villain. And I think even Batman protested that they shouldn't, because what if he comes back and he gets all, you know, if he turns evil too, they'd be, you know, screwed at that point, with all things considered. It was actually a very valid concern. If I remember correctly, isn't that how it went down a little bit? Wonder Woman was kind of like in the middle. Batman was not... Yeah, didn't want to revive Superman for many very good reasons.
Yeah. Well, I know it was Flash who really didn't want it because he kept referring to Pet Sematary. What if it's like Pet Sematary?
Yes.
Which, once again, I'm a Pet Sematary fan, so I appreciated that.
Yeah, like I said, with the plot and everything, it was that's where I felt like it was kind of like disjointed a little bit. I don't know.
All right. What about Flash? We both established, I think, that Flash was really good in the movie. What about Aquaman?
Aquaman was dope.
I liked Aquaman a lot in this movie.
Really cool. Yeah. But I will say the Zack Snyder take on him, where he's kind of like all dead serious, I didn't like him. When at the later towards the movie, when the fighting's happening, he's going like woohoo and having some fun with like the Joss Whedon style.
Yeah.
That's Aquaman to me.
Okay.
That worked really well.
All right.
The part that got spoiled in the trailer, where he's, you know, riding that guy down into the building and then he comes off like nothing happened.
Yeah.
It was just as good as it was in the trailer. Just when they were just having fun. All
right.
It was fun at those parts.
Okay. What about Wonder Woman in the movie?
Wonder Woman, I have no complaints. She was fine. You know, she played her role well. It was cool seeing her and Superman going toe-to-toe and all that.
Yeah.
You can notice a trend here, you know.
And what about Cyborg? What do you think of Cyborg?
No complaints. Like I said, all the characters are consistently good. The actors played the characters fine. The line delivery, everything. You know, I'm not saying the material was great, but for what they did a good job. The performers at the very least. So
yeah.
I will say that.
But so it's really the writing and the story itself that you didn't like.
Yeah. It's yeah. The performance did the material well. It's the material is the problem.
Yeah. Go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, I am curious though to see what Zack Snyder's original cut would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm hoping that when they release this on DVD, they will include the Zack Snyder cut.
I want as many cuts as humanly possible. I want the Joss Whedon cut, I want the Zack Snyder cut, and I want the bullshit DC cut for no reason.
Alright.
That's what I want.
Well, maybe one day they'll create the Eric Casey cut.
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I was actually thinking about that on the way here. Like, if like a DC exec went up to me and said, okay, you can't like come up with any new ideas per se, but these are the movies that you have to roll with. How would you make these better? And I was actually thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so if Man of Steel has to be the foundation, basically Man of Steel happens, then you throw in like a standalone Batman movie, or make Wonder. If we're going with movies that exist, freaking Wonder Woman would obviously be the second movie after Man of Steel. And then what I would have done is, with the Batman movie, I would establish like the Suicide Squad villains a little bit, and then go into Suicide Squad, and then basically like half the plot of Batman vs. Superman and Justice League should have been cut out and just moved into the other movie. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like, Batman vs. Superman. You remember in Justice League when Superman gets... Spoilers, by the way.
We already spoiled that Superman gets resurrected in this movie.
Yes, I know.
Even though I'm pretty sure most people going into this movie knew that already.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. But I just figured, you know. Anyway, the whole plot line of the Justice League fighting Superman, cut out the Justice League, there's your Batman vs. Superman plot.
Okay.
There you go. That's all you needed. Basically, someone... I was actually even thinking... When I was thinking about this, I was like, fuck it. Maybe have the League of Assassins try to revive Superman for their world domination plans. I don't know. Okay. Just somehow Superman gets revived. You could even throw in the Lazarus Pit in there, which... Wouldn't that be interesting? A crazy Lazarus Pit revives Superman, who eventually gets his memories back?
Yeah.
That would have been interesting. Or Zod or something. Something along the lines of... Superman gets revived. You can make a plot line out of that. And Batman has to figure out a way... In fact, screw it. League of Assassins finds out about Zod. They revive him with the Lazarus Pit. He goes all insane and crazy. Batman...
But he's not Doomsday.
He's not Doomsday. And Batman, on the other hand, is stuck in this situation where Zod's like destroying everything, and Batman has to make this decision of, well, I'm terrified of Superman, you know, thinking of the stuff that happened, basically leading into Batman vs. Superman. You had that opening scene where Superman destroys everything, and Batman's like, he could be a bad guy one day. Basically, Batman is thrown into a situation where he may not like it, but Superman's is his only chance. Or gets in contact with Wonder Woman or something, I don't know. Point is, Superman gets revived, there you go. And maybe Batman and Superman, no, scratch that. Forget Zod. Superman's evil, and Batman fights Superman. There's your plot line. He gets revived somehow, and Superman's evil. Batman has to fight him and win him back on his side, and beat the main villain who revived him. There's your plot.
All right. And
then Justice League should have been Doomsday.
All right. Okay.
There you go.
All right. Well, maybe a DC or Warner Brothers executive will see this. And maybe they'll approach you.
Probably not.
So where do you think this series could go after this? I know they already filmed an Aquaman movie, right? Because I know that's the next one, I believe.
Yeah, I think so too.
How do you think an Aquaman movie would be? Because I think they do good with the standalone movies.
Depends.
Man of Steel was good.
It was okay. It wasn't great. Wonder Woman is an example. Well, Wonder Woman proved that they can do it somewhat right. That's the important thing. The problem is, it's happening in this extended universe, and I do appreciate that it's taken them. Sadly, it's taken them this long, but I do appreciate that they are finally starting to wake up a little bit and basically say, "Yeah, we're fucking this up a lot. We need to maybe start branching off a little bit. We'll continue this extended universe that we got going for some reason, but we'll do some standalone stuff that isn't even connected to the extended universe." I personally don't think it's a good idea to do that, because it's just going to be so confusing marketability-wise, because some people may think that it's going to be connected and it's not. So I know there's a Joker movie in the works that's going to be produced by Martin Scorsese.
Well, you know what?
Sounds awesome, but...
You know what I say, though, about that? What they should do is have the Joker movie take place in the extended universe and completely retcon Suicide Squad. Pretend Suicide Squad never happened.
As much as I would agree with you, can't. It's part of this extended universe.
Alright.
It's part of the canon.
Yeah.
As much as I will hate to admit it.
Going back to what you were talking about earlier about how you would do this extended universe series, what I would do personally is DC has a lot of the shows like Arrow and Flash and Constantine and Lucifer. What I would do is I would have the TV shows also take place in this universe. The same way that Marvel does it. The Marvel shows also take place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Well, it'd be hard to do that because they sadly already established, 2 different Flashes.
Well, I'm talking about if let's say these movies haven't happened yet and I was the one deciding to do this, I would have the TV shows take place in the universe too.
Yes, that would be the smart case of going about it, where you take that tone and put it into the movies. Makes total sense. But if we want to go with this extended universe that's already been established, they would have to reinvent them. So I would say, taking your idea, is basically reestablish everything: Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, this entire extended universe. You could even keep the cast that you have, just have them in a completely different tone. Okay. Shoot it and basically write it and shoot it in the same tone style as those shows. To be fair, Arrow's kind of similar to the extended universe a little bit. But the thing is, if it was more like Flash, let's say, where it is a little bit more colorful and a little more energetic. Yeah. I feel like it would pay dividends for them. Right. And I feel like they have a good cast with who they picked as the superhero characters. It's just, you got to get the tone and the writing right. And the problem is, again, like I said, the extended universe is basically them trying to copy Marvel by literally copying Marvel without doing their own thing to it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Just do that. Just reinvent the characters in the tone of your TV shows. The TV shows are actually very good. And pretty good.
I know one movie they want to make as part of the extended universe is a live-action Justice League Dark movie, which they already did an animated Justice League Dark movie. I think if if they do it right, it could probably be good. The issue is, I know Guillermo del Toro wanted to do it, but he walked... I don't know if he was fired or if he just walked off the project, but due to creative differences, Guillermo del Toro's not going to do it, and that's a major loss for DC, not having a talent like Guillermo del Toro do something like a Justice League Dark movie.
You are idiots. You're simply put.
Because idiots. Justice League Dark, the thing about that is, well, Constantine is a major member of that, and the thing about the Constantine comics is those are also horror comics, so a Justice League Dark movie done right would be a horror movie as well.
Yeah, pretty much any character in the Justice League Dark, from what I saw in the trailers for for the animated movie, are you kidding? how can you let Del Toro walk from that project? That was just perfect that was the perfect director for that material. Why? Why are you doing this?
Yeah. How? But unlike you, though, I still think this series is salvageable in the sense that I think they're starting to learn a little bit. Not with this movie per se, but at least with stuff like Wonder Woman, I think they're starting... It's a slow process, but I still think this series can be saved. I think they can right this ship, but you think I'm insane. But
yes, you're insane. It's like,
right.
This is the best way I can describe it. DC has this cancerous, like, this cancer is festering on their arm. It's starting to spread up, go up their arm and stuff, and they're just starting to notice now, and they're basically starting to say, maybe we should get it looked at.
That's where they see, now they're amputated the arm.
No. They haven't got to the amputation stage yet. They're at, let's take a look at it.
Ah.
They're finally starting to realize, maybe we should question what we're doing a little bit. Just a tiny bit. We'll continue, but what I mean by a little bit of questioning is that they're still continuing this extended universe when they should just stop.
Okay.
I'm sorry, it's unsalvageable. They have burned through so much material already, they can't salvage it. They can't. They ruined the death of Superman. They ruined the Doomsday plotline. Like, that was one of your plot lines that you could have introduced the Justice League to.
They still haven't raped Nightfall yet.
And they're not going to get to it. And technically, Nightfall pretty much has already happened since Batman's older anyway.
Yeah.
Batman's already broke his back, and we're not getting that shit. I mean...
So no live-action Killing Joke movie?
No. I'm not saying those can't happen. That would probably be like one of the standalone movies that are not connected to this universe. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like, they don't know what they're doing. I would say do the standalone movie. Sure, go for it. But I'm assuming if one of them goes successful, they're going to jump into the Marvel crossover again, and that's what scares me. And I don't want them to fuck it up again. If you're gonna, I would say do the standalone movies, but have somewhat of a backup plan in case one of them is successful to the point where, you know, it'd be kind of cool if we do a crossover with some of this established stuff that we've done. That's what they should do. But start off with the standalone movies. Establish where you want to go first, okay? My God, I'm sorry. I feel like such a bitch repeating myself. But
well, you are a bitch, but
true.
That's not the point.
Exactly, that isn't the point. The point is, DC, get your shit together. Come on.
Well, on the off chance a DC executive is watching this, maybe they'll get their shit together.
Please, DC, I'm begging you, get it together.
All right.
You're finally bringing out Batman the Animated Series on Blu-ray. Why did it take you so long?
Because VHS is better.
This is the stuff, man. This is the decision-making that makes me question DC Comics.
Alright. Well, any closing thoughts on this movie, Justice League?
I mean, like I said, some good moments here and there. But again, just a complete disappointment, and it's unsalvageable.
Okay.
Please fix it.
Alright. I thought the movie was alright. I thought it was fun, at least. Not a great movie. Mediocre at best, but still, I had fun. I had fun with the movie, personally. And I still think this universe is salvageable.
Blasphemy.
Yeah.
You're really drinking the crazy sauce.
I'm drinking DC's Kool-Aid, I know.
If only it tasted as good as for me.